Hi there. Haha. Sorry, passed out for a couple hours. Anyway, um, movie review time here on the Blood Type Online YouTube channel. I'm Ed, once again. And if you follow modern horror films, you know some of the best stuff today that's coming out is from France. And recently I had the opportunity to check out one of the newest releases from all the foreign French stuff that was coming out. That film called Martyrs. Anyway, just to let you know, if you haven't heard anything about Martyrs, or if you've heard very little about the film, you've probably heard the term, not torm, the term torture porn come up. And I hate the term. I've never really cared for it. And I don't feel this movie falls into the category of what torture porn really is anyway. Actually, if I had to tell you what I feel about Martyrs, Martyrs is actually one of the best films that I've seen in a long time. Now, just to let everybody know about the new DVD that has been released, you can pick this up right now at stores everywhere. This is from Genius Products, I believe, in the Weinstein Company. And this movie, the DVD, first off, actually has a pretty good hour-long documentary about the making of the movie as well. And it's a hard story to pin down. Basically, when the movie starts out, you are kind of thrown into a situation where some young lady's running out of this rundown, abandoned building, and she looks like she's been getting destroyed, like literally physically destroyed, for quite some time, and she ends up getting away. It translates into basically the story where these two young girls are at a school. It seems like for mentally disturbed children or people with some sort of problems of the mental kind. And basically they show this girl having these visions of something kind of haunting her, chasing her, and then the story moves 15 years later, and from there, let's just leave it at this: all hell breaks loose. It's really hard for me to talk about the details of this movie without ruining major plot points, and I won't do that here. So I try and keep everything spoiler-free for you guys, because I like to talk about movies, but I know that if you haven't seen them, you don't want to get that shit ruined for you, especially when it comes to this movie. I just wanted to say that this movie, just to give you guys kind of like a general overview of what I'm talking about here, this movie is essentially a gore film, and it's also an art film, but I don't mean that in a negative way. I know a lot of people think gore film, it means it's brainless and it's stupid. Or if you say it's an art film, people think it's going to be pretentious and just, boring. That's not the case. This movie is actually very well acted, very well written. It's beautifully directed, and it's one that I give a very high recommendation to. If you have not seen this movie, definitely check it out. If you're worried that it's going to be torture porn and stuff, let me just tell you that it's not. It has a really interesting story behind it. A lot of twists and turns, a lot of cool stuff happens in this movie. The gore sequences are fantastic. The special effects in this movie are top notch. It's worth seeing the movie, I'll be honest with you, if you're a horror fan, for the special effects. But beyond that, there's a lot more going on in this movie. It's a pretty heavy movie, and it's pretty deep, I'd say, too, which actually surprised me. But whenever you look at the cover of this movie, you actually see a quote on here. It says one of the most ferocious horror films ever made. And I completely agree with that. A lot of times I find myself thinking that a lot of these quotes are bullshit. But that one actually pins this movie down really, really well. This movie is completely stunning from beginning to end, and I mean that on every facet. It's stunning visually. The story is very impressive. I like the turns that it takes, and the gore in it is just it's the effects, I should say, are so well done and delivered so well and shot well. This movie is something that I think people are going to be talking about for quite some time. Just because it's different. It's really an original movie, I think, and that's something that we're not seeing a lot of these days. I know that people complain a lot about the remakes that we've been seeing for years, and I know people complain about, just the lack of original horror that's coming out today. To be honest with you, Martyrs deserved to be in theaters. I thought it was that good. I don't think that it would have pulled in a ton of money, but just because of the filmmaking and the kind of movie it is, It would have worked really well, I think, on the big screen, and I think that it's kind of a shame that it didn't get a theatrical release or anything like that. And I think it's kind of a shame that I don't think that it would be appreciated by mainstream American audiences. It's way too graphic for people. I think people would have a hard time with this one, but it's a movie like if you were familiar with the movie that came out last year called Inside, from Dimension Extreme. It has a French name that I'm not going to even remotely attempt to say on here because that's just not happening. But if you like that movie, I think you're really going to be into this one too. It's the same kind of nature. The story is completely different, but it's a movie that basically uses the gore as a device, and it works very well. And it's not just a simple gore film. It's not like fun and like, yeah, you're not going to be cheering. It's not Dead Alive or Return of the Living Dead or anything like that. The gore in this film is pretty brutal, but with that being said, I think that it fits the story pretty well. I didn't feel that there was a big reach to throw a shitload of gore into a movie that didn't need it or anything like that. I think the gore was essential, and I think if you watch this movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. It plays into the storyline rather well. And the fact that the movie is called Martyrs, if you don't understand that, I think that's actually one of the cool parts of this movie too. But it's the slight downfall. I recently wrote a review for this, and I gave it about 3.5 stars out of 4 in the review. And I took a little bit off because I felt the end was a little bit anticlimactic. But to be honest with you, this movie was so brutal and such a... I mean, things change up in this film. And if that doesn't make sense to you, I mean storyline-wise, I don't want to get too deep into that because, like I said, I don't want to spoil the movie. But there are some twists and turns in the story, and there's some changes that happen in the film that literally, like the last 20 minutes of the movie, how I said it's anticlimactic, you as the viewer are kind of just sitting back, and you feel like you've been taken through the ringer. And that's the sense of a powerful film, in my opinion. And I think that really is the best thing that I could say about Martyrs. It's an extremely powerful film. It's extremely unforgettable, too. And I think it's the film that horror fans have been asking for. They want originality. They want the type of gore that would be appreciated by horror fans. They don't want a dumbed-down story. They don't want to be treated like fools. And they don't want to be they don't want to have their intelligence insulted. And I thought every step of the way Martyrs attempted to be more than a gore film or just a boring, stupid art film. It really is one of the best combinations of gore and art film that I've ever seen, and I mean that in the highest compliments too. The director is Pascal Laugier, I guess is how you say his name. If that's wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not fucking French, guys. And plus, the only person I'm really would be sorry to is the guy's name. I mispronounced it too. So, but anyway, highly recommend this one. This is Martyrs. This is in stores now. You can order it probably on deep discount, places like that, pretty cheap, or at least at a fair price. I mean, this one is actually worth some money. It's not, I know times are tough for everybody, but if you're gonna pluck down your hard-earned dollars to pick up a movie, this is a new release to do that on. Believe me, I think that horror fans are gonna want to have this in their collection, and that they're gonna be very, very happy with the purchase too. So, that's Martyrs. Definitely see this at the very least. But I think a lot of people are going to actually want to buy this one and give it the big thumbs up. And I don't mean like Siskel and Ebert. I mean I gave it 3.5 stars out of 4 on the written. So that's Martyrs. I'm Ed. Go watch some Martyrs.